Okay, recording. Cool. So yeah, let's start out with just you telling me a little bit about yourself and who you are and what you do.
Yeah, sure. So I'm Nick. I'm out of Tampa. I work with Southern Pro Restoration and Roofing. Roofing is 99% of what we do. A little bit of insurance work for interior, but like I said, our bread and butter is roofing. And down here in Tampa, in Florida, basically nonstop all year round. Um, I'm director of sales, so one of my jobs was to try and find a good lead source and basically a nice marketing portfolio to get the phones ringing all the time so that it never stops. Because, as you know, in Florida, because it's year long and it's recession proof, there are no shortage of roofers out here. So there's got to be a way that we can stand out.
Nice. So what were you guys doing, previously to, stir things up and get the business flowing and generate the leads?
Yeah, great question. So it's a little interesting for us because before our business model was really mainly the insurance side of things. Did it the old school way with we had our guys knocking on doors and that type of thing. Basically, people were filing claims and then get a roof for their deductible. When I came on and we were building the retail side of things, so it was really those people, they knew they were at 20, 25 years and they had to get a roof done. So it really was, when I came on, it was really a new approach because we had such an insurance mentality that if we're going into the retail side of things, the phones don't magically ring. So that's when we started talking and, we realized very quickly that we have to get something out there and get our name out there and have people, calling us so that we can get out there. Since we're a master lead roofer, so, we're one of the good ones out there, but people don't know that unless you put yourself out in front of them. So
Right.
that's when a few calls were made, and that's when I met up with RoofEngine and you, Max.
Nice. So do you remember how you first came across RoofEngine and what your first impression was?
I do. I remember it vividly. I was just poking around online and looking at a bunch of different things, and then I came across your blog. So I read every single post, I think, quite a few times, and was really impressed. And I said, geez, this guy knows what he's talking about. Because even though I'm in roofing, I have some background in internet marketing and really just, driving value for customers and things of the sort. And you were hitting everything that I knew and above and beyond. Actually, you had a few ideas in there that I thought were fantastic that I think I told you I was going to steal. So it all started from your blog. And, what I really liked was that you weren't just like a lot of people in blogs saying, hey, buy my stuff, buy my stuff. It was, you were really trying to help roofers, come up with a game plan and give them ideas to improve their business, whether they made contact with you or not. So that's what was really appealing with RoofEngine. And then I hadn't talked to you or met you or anything at the time yet. So I said, yeah, I'd like to talk to this guy. So I scheduled through your website, was it a consulting session or something of the sort? I forget the exact terminology. So yeah, it all started out from all that hard work you did on your blog, because I know that's not, I know that could be tedious work, my man.
Oh man, the wordsmithing.
Yeah.
To date, I only have like 15 blog posts up just because I'm like very hypercritical. So like I've written probably like another 20. I've just only let through like maybe 3 or 4. So I'm like, oh no, it's not good enough. It is tedious. It is tedious. It's a good word.
Well, kudos to you, man, because that basically, that's what started this whole thing. With
Right on. Right on. Nice. So since we've started working together, what kind of changes have you seen in the business, and how are things different today than when they were pre-RoofEngine?
Great question. Night and day would be the best way to answer it. So before we hooked up with RoofEngine and got you guys working with us, it was, I think we were traditionally kind of doing what everyone else is doing. A certain company out there that people trust with commercials on TV, and then they send us leads with a whole bunch of other contractors as well. Exactly. We all know who we're talking about. And it was, even though we know that people are shopping for estimates out there, they're going to get a few. There was some success there, but it was a pain because we just weren't talking to these people when we get them as much as we like. So what we love about RoofEngine is that I found that it was just very direct. People work fast. It seems, I don't know if it's in the AdWords space or the Google space, but they see the ad, they click, they call, and then boom, we're out there meeting them. And there is on RoofEngine's end, everything was fantastic. You guys delivered 100% on what it was. On our end, and a little tidbit for anybody that you're talking to, do not make this mistake that we made. So I believe it was the first month, RoofEngine came flying out the gate, but we weren't set up properly to handle those calls coming in. It's not they were overwhelming, it's just that we were so not prepared for it. So our results showed on that. But as soon as we got the system in place, make sure a real person is answering those calls. Numbers just shot through the roof. It was just pretty simple. No pun intended there. So it was, the amount of roofs that were coming from RoofEngine were actually kind of mind blowing. I was very confident in you. I just did not expect the numbers and the return that we would get. So, great surprise. I love that.
Do you remember some of the numbers you guys were doing like in the first 3 months?
Yeah, so like I said, the first month, that was our bad. We're still profitable. I forget the exact number, but then it went, so I think it was February where it was our fault. And then when we got our acts together, March was on our net, we were getting 5-to-1 ROI. April was 6-to-1 ROI, and then May was 7-to-1 ROI. And then I haven't personally looked at June yet. And that's just residential. There were a few commercial jobs closed in there as well for, six-figure contracts. So I haven't even crunched the numbers on the commercial side yet. But yeah, with those types of returns, you certainly cannot complain. It's just a matter of putting more money in the ad budget. So,
right.
So again, kudos to you, my man. I don't know what you figured out with, because I find what the main difference is with the RoofEngine leads is that it seems that the sales cycle is a lot shorter. I'm not sure if these people are more motivated through that channel, or I'd like to think we're doing a good job as well, but they just seem to be closing a lot faster. So I don't know, you probably have more insight on that than I do, Max.
Yeah, it's usually part of it is that they're actively trying to get somebody out there. So you don't have to do much work. Just pick up the phone and they're happy you answered.
And that's the key. I'm not sure if you know much about the Florida market, but there are a lot of bad roofers and a lot of bad contractors in this state. And if we just firstly do what we say we're going to do, which is answer the phone and then show up on time, we've pretty much beaten 75% of the guys out there already. So then if you put a good product on and you have your system in place, I mean, it's a no-brainer. It's really just a plug and play at that point.
Got it.
So that's the biggest thing. So if any of your potential clients, are considering RoofEngine's end of it is, it's iron tight. Like, it's a matter of, it's just like pushing a button. You do a few things and you guys talked with us, and but after that, it's just you turn it on and watch it go. As long as the roofer is doing what he's supposed to be doing, there should never be any problems at all.
Right on. So where do you see Southern Pro's future going in the next year or two? And where do you see Roof Engine playing a role in that?
Interesting question on the first part. But like I said before, because we were so heavily insurance based, it's a little new to us, and to say, where we will be in a year's time. But if I just put it on trending in the past, we have almost flipped, actually almost a complete 180. We're probably at 90% retail now, just because it's fast. The cash flow is there. People people pay us, and then it's coming in. So as far as where we'll be in a year, I cannot see any reason why we would not keep hammering down on the retail space and maybe some supplementation with the insurance side. Now, to the second part of your question would be Roof Engine. I cannot see any reason why the relationship would end, because going this way, I think the most important part is that without Roof Engine and the ads and the marketing that are going in, you do not have any lifeblood. If those phones stop ringing, your roofing industry has a tough time, unless you want to go back to canvassing out there. So it is, at this point, our retail side of things, I would have to say you guys are, Roof Engine is probably 90% of our success. So very long term, let's put it that way, as long as you'll have us.
Very happy to have you guys for a while. So what would be your main piece of advice to somebody who is in the position you were in a year ago, who's trying to grow their roofing company, and they're looking at options? Like, not just Roof Engine's great, go with them, but bigger picture. What would you tell them after everything you've been through and your experience with Roof Engine?
I hope you got some time, because this could go on for a little bit. So what my main thing would be, as long as the most important thing would be to make sure you have your company, your roofing company, and your back end systemized. So let's talk about marketing as the front end and all the rest as the back end. For example, so it's all really just a funnel. People call, we take the information, we make contact with them, set up the estimate time, and then everything all the way until after the roof is done. Whereas, getting the customer what they want, which is, final invoices, paid invoices, all those things that they can do on their end for, whatever, whether it be home insurance or wind mitigations, things like that. So I think that would be the most important step, is make sure you're systemized. And I'll tell you why. And that's before the marketing even comes into play, is because what business owners, I think, tend to do is, if they're not systemized in the back end, and then all of a sudden they say, okay, Max and Roof Engine, let's do this. Let's work together. You hold up your end of the bargain and you deliver them all these leads, but they don't have everything set up in the back end. The business owner tends to blame the marketing company. And it's pretty tough to blame them when they don't have everything going on, doing the right thing. So get everything ready, get everything systemized, make sure you have somebody answering the phone, somebody's talking to these people, a human being talking to these people. And then once everything's there, then you just say, okay, Max, Roof Engine, flick on the switch and let's go. So that would be my biggest piece of advice, is just make sure you're ready for it. Or at least the first parts of it, to give that best first impression for the homeowner when you first talk to them. And that is, novel concept, answer the phone. Don't let it go to a voicemail and call them back, because we know in this day and age it doesn't happen. So another tip I would do, why I love you guys and Roof Engine so much, is you're in the space, Max, there's no shortage of phone calls that come into our office. Everyone's from an ad campaign, or everyone's from an ad service or a marketing service. But I find they're very broad. They'll take anyone that they can just to sell them, PPC campaigns or whatever it is. Where what I loved about you is you have your niche, you've perfected it, it's roofing, that's your bread and butter, and you stick to it. You knew exactly what it was, keywords, negative keywords, all that stuff specifically for the roofing industry, which is what we want, instead of somebody that's, a very holistic approach to all of it. So I think that's really important too. That's why we like RoofEngine so much, is this is your thing. This is what you stick to, and it's roofing, and you can tell. It's not a generic marketing campaign, and we hope that the numbers come in. You've got it proven down to the numbers and the science. So that would be my biggest piece of advice. Find an ad manager or a marketing company person that knows exactly your niche, and that only does that niche. So it's going to hurt the guys in our market because you give exclusivity to your clients, of course, so they can't work with you. But any other market, if you can find somebody that knows exactly what they're doing in that exact space, then I think it's money well spent.
Awesome. Cool. Well, those are all very wise words, and I think they're going to apply to a lot of people who are looking to grow their company. So
I sure hope so. Sometimes I like to think I have some good ideas, but
you definitely do.
and it's pretty simple when you're working with partners, Max. It's very simple philosophy. If both of them are doing what they're supposed to be doing, everything works out. It's not hard. There's no. I think if any roofing company works with RoofEngine and do not get the results, I'd be willing to put money on the fact that they didn't do what they were supposed to do. It was not on RoofEngine's fault, on RoofEngine. So, can I throw in one more piece of advice as well? Once you come on with RoofEngine, or someone teams up with you, Max, I think the other piece of advice would be, you have to have a bit of a paradigm shift and a mentality shift, whereas that you're not spending money on the marketing anymore. You're actually, every dollar you're spending is making you money. So my biggest piece of advice is that, everyone's scared. Everyone gets a little trigger shy when it comes to marketing budgets. But once you see after month 1, 2, and 3, everything's killing it, put more money into the marketing campaign. And I think that's where people go, a lot of owners go wrong, is that they see it as they're spending money when they're not. If you're getting 5, 6, 7 to 1 ROI, put in as much as you can that you can handle. So that's a big mistake that people make.
That's true. That they do. They see it as an expense and not the cash vending machine that it could be.
Well, exactly. And unfortunately, there's so many agencies and people out there, like I said, that aren't drilled down into the niche like you and RoofEngine are, that owners have had bad experiences with. They hear AdWords and they freak out and say, "Oh, I lost my hat on it." Well, you don't have somebody that knows what they're doing. So I get that they're trigger shy, but when you find that right person, it's not money spent anymore. It's every dollar that you're putting in there, you're getting 5 back. I can't think of anyone, when they look at it that way, that wouldn't jump on that. So it's unfortunate. All of these guys that are these dime a dozen guys, and trust me, I've worked with them, and I've gotten trigger shy myself. I'm not immune to it. They've done a disservice to people and companies like yours, that where you're working one-on-one with the customers, because they've tarnished the good reputation of guys that know what they're doing, like you guys. So the challenge you have to face, unfortunately, but that's the main thing. You find somebody that's good, and I tell you, if they're giving you what you want, you pump money into that marketing budget.
Right on. Just 1 second, just lost the window. There we go. Cool. All right. Well, thank you so much for these wise words and sharing your experience. Anything else you want to add?
My pleasure, Max. Thanks. No, I just, thanks for doing what you do. Thank you, because without you, we wouldn't have been able to do what we've been able to do this last year.
Nice. Well, that means a lot, man. Thank you. I do appreciate it. It's been a pleasure working with you guys.
Certainly has. I hope so, because we want our partners to be happy. So, just if there's something up, you just holler and we'll do the same. And that's pretty much how these things work. At the end of the day, we're all human beings dealing with human beings. So, the name of the game is to make money, and I assume you're doing with all of your other customers or clients what you're doing with us. So I can't see any of them having any problems.
Yeah, I try to keep everything pretty simple and straightforward, and not switch things up too much between what I do for my clients, just to kind of have some singularity. So I know if it works here, it'll work there. No questions.
Yeah, and I think that's very wise. And I tell you, I don't know how you do it, man, because roofers, we are animals, and we have very old school dinosaur mentalities to us. So trying to teach internet marketing or AdWords stuff to roofers, you must have a special skill to be able to get through them. But
the secret,
you must have thick skin, buddy.
As long as you have good metaphors, you can explain anything.
That's a good way of looking at it. Yeah, that's the way to do it.
That metaphor is, I don't know where I'd be.
Yeah.
Very confused roofing contractor.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you figured it out, man. So congrats to you. And, we're really happy. So thanks for everything.
Yeah, my pleasure.